Hi, my name is Priscilla Gillison, and this is my classroom community analysis presentation, starting with the classroom context. So the teacher I interviewed worked at Anderson Elementary School in Chandler as a special ed resource teacher. She had a total of 16 students ranging in age from kinder through third. The class consisted of boys and girls varying in different ages or different races, with Hispanic being the majority. Four of her students are English language learners, and all students are on an IEP. And Anderson Elementary is considered a Title I school. So the SPED teacher named Ms. Wallace set up her classroom to be very inviting, with rainbows and greenery along the walls and bulletin boards. She had a small space for students who may need a minute or two to settle down or gather their thoughts, with a mirror lined with positive affirmations. Since she didn't have that many students compared to other teachers, she was able to give a lot more of one-on-one time with students if they needed extra help. Her classroom consisted of a small library that had many multicultural books for students to choose from. She had positive posters throughout the classroom for extra motivation as well. She allows students to openly talk about their family and culture and tries to find curriculum that aligns with the students in her classroom. She also encourages the English language learners to answer questions or share experiences in their own language first, and then they translate to the other students. This is such an incredible way for students to feel seen, appreciated, and important. I love that she does this, and I can't wait to let my ELL students do the same for me and their peers. As mentioned in the previous slide, the teacher does have a small library with books that are inclusive to the students in her room. She has books about African American culture and history, books about Hispanic culture, such as Hispanic culture in the Southwest, and books about how diversity makes us stronger. And the students are able to check out these books if they want to, aside from the library. This slide is just a continuation of the last one on how the teacher embraces and encourages her students to use their voice and background to help educate her and their peers. Parents of these students are able to come to her classroom to help with these projects, do copying, and other classroom duties. The school holds something called Cultural Night, where students showcase their own background culture, and the teachers even partake and showcase their own background. I love this idea because it gives the students and families a different perspective of who their teachers are and where they come from. Volunteers are very important when it comes to the classroom, but not everyone is able to volunteer in that way. Throughout this project, I've learned there are so many different ways a parent can volunteer, and it doesn't always have to be in person in the classroom. Their presence in any form is extremely important. The school sends out weekly newsletters to families that can be easily translated into a different language. The Chandler Unified School District uses a platform called S'more to create and send out newsletters, and they make it extremely easy for parents to change the language of the newsletter. There are literally dozens of different languages they can choose from. These newsletters are very important as they let families know about coming events that they may want to attend or even volunteer for. Because the school is predominantly Hispanic, where many parents and guardians don't speak English, communicating and making connections can be difficult at times, especially if parents or families show up to the school and there isn't an interpreter to help translate. Making connections to other students and families can be hard too if parents don't have extra time to come to community events or can't afford to go to events such as fundraising night. We have to be more mindful of events such as these that take into consideration the families that may want to go but can't afford to with time or with money. We need to get creative in finding other ways to help families make connections to students and families. So Anderson, the school context. Anderson Elementary is located on Dobson, in between Ray Road and Warner's Road in Chandler. It's an older school built in the 1980s. The surrounding neighborhoods are older as well, but they are very well kept and clean. Anderson Elementary is part of something called the International Baccalaureate Primary Years Program. Sorry if I butchered that word. This program requires the school to apply and then be accepted into their program. The Primary Years Program is designed for students ages 3 to 12, perfect for elementary schools. Its basic premise is that it is a student-centered approach to learning. The curriculum is geared towards the student, how they learn, what their background is, and learning and teaching is focused around that. It's very hands-on and project-based and sounds like a really great program that a lot of schools could benefit from. As mentioned earlier, Anderson consists of a predominantly Hispanic population, with 47% of the students being Hispanic. 54% of the population is considered to be economically disadvantaged, and that's how many students are on free or reduced lunch. Because of this high percentage of students on free or reduced lunch, they are considered a Title I school. So they are allowed extra funding to purchase supplemental curriculum resources to better help their students. However, their test scores are not the greatest, but they are not the worst in the district either. Their English, math, and science scores are not in the failing ranges, but are barely above the state's average scores. They scored are 35% proficient in math, 37% proficient in English, and 31% proficient in science. Even though the school is considered Title I and they get extra funding, they may need other supports to help them get their scores up. Not only does the teacher have multicultural posters in her room, they are also scattered throughout the halls and in the multi-purpose room as well. The school does not offer a multilingual program, but they do have teachers who speak Spanish that are usually available to help with translating for students and parents and families. Some of the events Ms. Wallace told me about include a Veterans Day Assembly, Kindness Week, and a culture walk. All are inclusive to the demographics of the school and all showcase the importance of celebrating diversity. Students and families love the culture walk they do during parent-teacher conferences, which showcases the different cultures of the teachers and staff. The school does have quite a few parents who come into the school to volunteer on a daily basis. Parents are not only encouraged to come and help with copies or laminating, but are also encouraged to volunteer on field trips, field and water day, fundraising events, assemblies, and so much more. But as mentioned earlier, we have to embrace those parents who may not have the means to come to school to help in person. We can do more to find their strengths and feed off of that to help them get more involved. I know parents want to be involved, sometimes they just don't know how they can contribute. So we have to help them figure out how and when they can help in any way, shape, or form. So this page is just a continuation of the last slide about ways in which the school promotes family-school connections with various assemblies that honor all walks of life. Hindrances that affect family-school connections are mainly just communication and having the means to get to and from events. Again, teachers need to embrace these families just as much as the ones who come in physically and volunteer. Everyone has something they're good at. We can work together to find these hidden gems and what they have to offer their students and the classroom. So in the community context, the areas around Anderson Elementary is older. The school was built in the 1980s and much of the neighborhoods were as well. The houses, yards, and surrounding areas are very well maintained and are really nice. The median value of homes here in this neighborhood are in the $424,000 range. Median rent is $1,675 per month, and the median household income is around $99,000 per year. Anderson Junior High and Anderson Elementary are located on the same property. So students moving up to junior high don't actually have to go too far. Right across the street from the junior high is a church, and Seton Catholic Preparatory is right across the main road. In the surrounding neighborhood, Chandler Sunset Library is nearby, Arrowhead Pool, Chandler Regional Hospital, and several parks are pretty accessible. Actually, Anderson Springs Park and Brooks Crossing Park are within walking distance from the elementary school. A little further from the surrounding neighborhood are several businesses, including Kumon Tutoring Center. These are very helpful to have, but these places are expensive and not accessible to many families. There are several restaurants, like Ballet Luna Mexican restaurant that has been there for a long time. There's a fried food store, Sprouts, and Chandler Mall isn't that far away. And the mall is a great place for families to gather and get out of the heat. Also at the mall is Barnes & Noble, which was one of my children's favorite places to go, especially during the summer. They have the children's area where kids can just grab a book, sit down, and read whatever they want to read. The great thing about Barnes & Noble, too, is that they are culturally inclusive with a ton of different books that are relevant to many cultures. The kids can play in the indoor park at the mall as well, and Arrowhead Pool is also a great escape for families. It's close by and inexpensive. Community events held by the school include family skate night at the local skating rink. They also hold dine-out fundraiser nights at local restaurants such as Del Taco, Peter Piper Pizza, and other surrounding restaurants. Another great thing Chandler Unified School District does is they supply breakfast and lunch for all students of the district during the summer months. This has been ongoing for several years, and the years that I've been working at the district, and it's extremely popular. I love that CUSD cares enough about all the students and ensures they get good meals throughout the summer. As far as I know, there aren't really any informal educational settings connected to any formal educational settings connected to informal learning organizations. I only found one learning organization nearby, and that was Kumon. Again, these programs are expensive, and not everyone can take advantage of their services. One thing that CUSD does offer to families is Kids Express before and after school program. I worked at Kids Express for about half a year a couple years ago, and I thought it was a great program. I made some great connections with the staff and students. They break the students into groups and have planned activities where students can work on their homework together. And with staff, they get playground time, computer time, they get to watch movies or sit in the library and play games or look at books. And any family that has a financial hardship can qualify for the many scholarships they offer. It's really a great program that many families actually do take advantage of. I did a ranking of Anderson Elementary compared to 4 other nearby Chandler Unified School Districts, including Knox Gifted Academy, T-Dale Hancock Elementary, where I work, Conley Elementary, and CTA Goodman. And compared to those other 4 schools, Anderson ranks pretty high for being one of the top public schools in Maricopa County, and their teachers rank pretty well too. So one of the main ways in which students' socio-emotional, cognitive, linguistic, and physical development contributes to teaching and learning is just being involved. Being involved means the student has some sort of support at home. They have positive role models within their family, community, and school that makes them feel confident, secure, and supported. They have friends and places where they can get out and get some sun and exercise and let off some energy. All of these combined can only enhance a student's readiness and willingness to learn. Some hindrances that can affect development are family and financial stressors. Language barriers can affect a student's ability to learn and a teacher's ability to teach. Students and families need to have access to technology, the internet, educational resources, as well as other resources that promote learning and healthy habits. Well, without any of these being readily available, students struggle to keep their head in the game. Resources available in the classroom and outside of the classroom should be accessible to everyone in any language they need it to be. Nowadays, finding information, books, etc. in different languages isn't that hard. Libraries offer technology and hands-on resources that students can access for free. Classrooms need to be well-equipped and organized for easy transitions from one subject to another. Teacher, student, and community relationships should be supportive, positive, and help create positive learning environments. Students tend to feel more valued, cared for, and supported. This in turn helps them be more engaged and motivated to learn and participate. Constraints that I found were that if you don't have good classroom management or a classroom that is conducive to learning, students can feel a lack of safety and care. If classrooms are inclusive to the demographics of your students, they can't fully engage in the classroom activities or projects. And if teachers are committed to their students and communicating with their students' families, it can lead to disengagement from both the parents and the students. We don't want families to feel undervalued or undersupported, so we have to make every effort to figure out ways we can support each other. Bringing the community in the classroom is something that I feel is mandatory. Students we are teaching are going to become members of the community we are in and beyond. We have to bring the community to the students in order to show them the many different things they can do as they begin to think about what they want to do when they grow up. What better way than to bring contributing members of the community to teach our students? We can bring in local community members that actually make a difference in the lives of so many people like nurses, doctors, firefighters, or local police officers. These are professions that help the community, so what better way to get them in the classroom to help us teach students how to help others and how to look out for one another. These professionals can help show the importance of healthy habits and how important it is to be kind. These members of the community are parents of our students, aunts, uncles, grandparents, and strangers that can teach us all a thing or two. I will absolutely be coordinating with my team, administrators, and local community members to take field trips or bring them to the classroom or whatever school I'm lucky enough to work at. I look forward to creating relationships with my students, their families, and the community to help bring us all closer together and to help us realize that we're in this together. We're all a team.